Good morning, friend. I almost thought I had technical difficulties, but it looks like it's worked out. I hope you guys have had a great week. I am so thankful it's Friday, and my husband is off to a men's retreat, which means I've got no one telling me what I need to do, though I do have commitments. But I'm just going to enjoy myself trying to do some catching up on some of my crafting, and I'm going to spend some time with my son. We like to do little dates once in a while. So today I'm doing my paper pumpkin because it's the end of the month, and I usually get my kit around the 20th, 21st, somewhere in there of the month. So I was really happy to have that and start playing with it. As you've seen on my Facebook page and my Instagram, I have been asked to be a participant in the Paper Pumpkin Creatives design team. And it's just a group of really talented demonstrators. I feel very privileged. They do really beautiful alternates with paper pumpkin kits, whether it's scrapbooking or cards or 3D objects like gift boxes and such. So I thought I would join in. And so if you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber for me, or you're one of my team members, you get to have this tutorial, which could have up to 16 different alternates, which is phenomenal. So it would behoove you to, hold off on getting into your paper pumpkin until you've had a chance to, or you can buy a refill kit. Those are still available, and have a chance to play with these really fun cards and stamps. The refill does not have the stamps. It only has the paper. So anyway, so let's get to it. Okay, and for whatever reason, Wi-Fi is really bad today, and I'm sorry about that. It's like my video quality is only as good as my Wi-Fi or internet access. I don't know. So I apologize for that. Not much I can do about it because it has to do with my phone. My phone is the one that ends up having this really awful grainy look sometimes. And today's the day. So very frustrating. Okay, so as you know, these paper pumpkin kits always come with a set of stamps. And because of the graininess, you're probably not going to be able to see this. um, anyway, it says, with thanks, sending autumn wishes your way and thinking of you. And then there's a cute little snail with a shell, a couple of leaves, and a sprig. So lots of fun. And then they have Cajun Craze as the Stampin' Spot. And then they've got this great kit that I've already dived into and decimated because I had alternates that I was working on. Okay, so here are two of the cards, and they have this beautiful copper foil. So I'm not sure if you can see the copper. And then they've got this great wood grain, and the third card is this little peekaboo card. All right, let's go ahead and just pull this all out. Maybe this will help you see the sentiments better. It looks like my phone's cleared up a little bit. Great. Okay. So you can see the thinking of you, sending autumn wishes your way with thanks. You can see the cute little snail, and of course his little shell. So cute. Okay. So with that, we of course have dimensionals, envelopes that match this cute little card here. I have some extra pieces that I was using for other things. And then these are the beautiful cards or envelopes that match this card. I only have one of these left because I've used both of them. but I have 2 envelopes because I ended up not using them at all. And then this envelope, so pretty, goes with this card here. And then I have all of these. I didn't use any of these little ones. Lots of sentiment labels. And then, of course, lots of leaves. Got glue dots. Cute little wood. This is a cute little label with a copper foil ring around it. Really sweet. All right. So now what we can do is we can divide it up by what goes with what. And so you'll find in your instructions, hey Linda, thanks for joining me. It gives you all of the different pieces and which goes with what. So, okay. So this leaf goes with wood, and this one goes here. Like that. And a little snail goes with this little one. All of these have been falling out because I've been messing with them for so much. So I pretty much used 2 of just about everything for these 2 cards because I used them for my layout. And I sure hope you subscribe with me because I would love to show you what it is that I was doing. It was very, very fun. Forgot I got rid of my recycle. Okay, and got these leaves that go with this. The little woodchuck goes with that. And that goes with that. So I only have one of these little snails and mushrooms. Isn't that cute? It's so adorable. Ah, it's going to get grainy again. Sorry about that. Don't know why my phone does that. Okay. And then this is an envelope that has been opened up, and so we can use the back of it for a card front if we want. And then here's a piece of wood that was from leftovers, and then this is leftovers as well. Okay, and then these go with this up here. Let me get a block. Okay. So I haven't put this one together, so this will be a good one for me to do as instructed. However, something to keep in mind, this is a small format that's not mailable. Actually, it is mailable. So this is mailable. So it's when it's 3x3 that it's not mailable, but this is actually a mailable card. So a great way to send a note to a loved one. Okay, so we're going to do the sprig, and we're going to do sending autumn wishes. And I'm going to use this little one. I know this is discontinued now, but it's one of my favorites. So, and then rather than use Cajun Craze, I find that I like copper clay better, so I'm going to use that instead. And that's one of the 2023 to 2025 in colors. Okay, so first thing first, we're going to stamp a sprig on the background. That works. I keep finding all my stuff kind of creeps in, and I have less and less room on my crafting table. So my apologies for that. It's getting kind of crowded. And I think I'm going to put one of these sprigs on this as well. So when I'm stamping, I like to stamp off the edge. Oh, it's doing that nasty thing again. I'm so sorry. So where I make sure that I stamp off the edge of the paper so it looks like it's coming through. So I have no idea why my phone is doing that today, other than the internet doesn't want to work very well from my phone. Okay, and then we need the sentiment, sending autumn wishes your way. We're going to use this little label. Okay, that looks good. All right. Okay, so we're going to use glue dots on this. To replace my recycle bin under my desk. So here I am trying to keep all my recycles in one place. Okay, so when you've got a piece like this, the best thing to do is to just insert it into your card. Slightly smaller than the 4¼ by 4¼ and then got it adhered. So okay, so this little ring, to add some glue dots to that as well. And just place it like so. I love that it's got the gold or the copper foil. So I'm not sure why it's like deciding to give me such a hard time. Anyway, there's copper foil in here. So hard to see because of the blurriness. All right. And then the next item is our sentiment. And that gets glue dots as well. Here. Then our little this little piece. So it gets glue dots. Say this goes here. And then this gets dimensionals. And this little piece of wood gets dimensionals. Actually, I was supposed to put the wood down before I put the leaves down. So let's see if I can pull that up a little bit. Oh, good. It didn't actually adhere, so. So this goes here. That can go there. And then the snail can go right there. And so rather than use every single piece, because I only have one of these, I'm just going to leave this off. That way I've got a cute little snail, piece of wood, and the leaves. So I think this is enough. It doesn't need anything else because of the foil. It just is really pretty. So we've got the first one done. And one of the things that I've seen other folks do is they make this card and add it to a card base. So if you've got a card base like so, and you can actually just use maybe a piece of cardstock like this, and then you can add it to that and put it in a regular envelope. But these are mailable. I just measured them, and I know what the post office will take. This is similar to little thank you cards, and they will mail this. So I think it works just fine, and it's just so adorable. So really cute. Okay. And like I said, because I don't have the rest of the items, I will probably just use something like this and the little mushroom for one with a sentiment. And of course, I've got the background. And then for the other one, because I have all three of these, but I don't have all the parts, I'm just going to do a piece of wood and a sentiment. And it's still super cute, so I'm happy with that. I also have extras of these as well. And I think so. Okay. All right. So because I only have one of these, but I have two envelopes, first thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to cut it in half. I have my cutter here. I say I'm going to cut it in half. That means I'm going to cut it down the score line. So I'm going to measure 4 1/4 and then cut down that line. And then I have actually 2 card fronts. And if I wanted to, I could also cut them again and just have it be a small piece of a card. In other words, I could cut this in half again and I could have just a bottom. Let me show you what I mean. Let me cut this piece down. So this is one of the envelopes, as you can see, that I cut open. So what I do is I just cut along these lines like 1/8 of an inch and then open it up and I have all this cardstock. Okay, so I want 4 1/4. Whoops. By 5 1/2. I have just a little bit more than what I need. I can put this on a card front, and then I can cut these in half and put them on just a portion of it and like emboss the other side. So you see what I'm talking about? So I have like an extra piece of wood that I'm just going to fussy cut out. So I can do some really pretty embossing with this. And I've got 3 embossing folders that I was thinking of using. I've got, let's see what I do with them. Here we go. There's 3 of them that are great for fall. There's the Changing Leaves hybrid embossing folder. So you remember it has a die that goes with it that cuts out these 3 leaves. Or I could do this Timber 3D embossing folder, which makes a really great wood grain. And then I have the Falling Leaves. So let's try the Falling Leaves on this piece here. Or maybe this piece. I think this one would be better for this. So let me cut this one down. So I'm going to make this into an entire card front. All right, and I've got this Falling Leaves. Okay, so I've got this piece here that's going to go here. And so where do I want the leaves to be falling from? So let's put the paper about right here. So I've got all these little leaves and then it gets into the bigger leaves down here. So I think I like that. All right. Got my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Okay. So one of the things I wanted to experiment with, I don't know if you've heard, but Stampin' Up! Has now started doing two-sided paper, which means that it's got a white core. And this is actually a vanilla core, and they've only got color on one side. And what I want to do is I just want to rub it's a little nail buffer, and I just want to rub across all the embossed areas to see if I can get a little bit of a color lift. So you can see that it's kind of lifted the color off of the paper. So this is what the two-tone cardstock is going to be like. I've got some on order and it should be here any day now. They're a little backed up right now. So isn't that pretty? Okay, so now I can add my wood grain to this. And I also have all these really beautiful leaves. And I think for this card, it was supposed to have with thanks. And I could stamp some of that sprig on here as well, because that's one of the examples that they give. So don't be afraid to do something a little different. I need to make make sure this is the correct size. Trouble. So this cardstock is going to cover all of my front of my card. And remember, this is the inside of the envelope that I've cut. And I just love how it's just lifted the color right off the cardstock. And it's given a little bit of a worn look to it. Really cool. Okay, I'm going to add this wood piece. This is why I save all my scraps, because you just never know. I've got all these sentiment labels. Let's figure out what I did with them. There we go. All right. With paints. All right. Okay, so let's use glue dots to adhere. All right, so I need actually this attached to this. So I need to put glue dots down below. Use your grid paper, or if you have one of these, use this to help you line up everything so you have it straight. And then this is going to get dimensionals. Can't seem to keep a hold of my items. There we are. Set this aside. And then this leaf gets so this one is going to go like here. I'm going to use this. I'm not doing it exactly like they did it because I still have 2 more card fronts that I could make look like their card. So, but there's enough copper foil that I think that I'm going to move this over just a smidge so that it isn't all covered up with my sentiment. And there we go. So I love the falling leaves. I think that's really pretty. Okay, and 1 card down. So now with this one, I can make it look somewhat like it's supposed to, but I only have 1 of each of these. However, I do have the ability to make more with, if you have the every celebration dies. This was the die for September, and as you can see, it's an exact replica of, or pretty close actually. Yeah, if it gets die cut out, it's an exact replica. So this is exactly what that die would look like when you cut it out with that paper. So that's really cool. Okay, so we have the wood here. It's supposed to go this way. So again, we're going to add the sprigs. So right, and again, oops, this needs to stay open because I need the with thanks again. I never have enough thank you cards. We're still sending thank you cards out for people that sent us flowers and such for the funeral 2 months ago because things just kept coming in even like a month afterwards. I started grief counseling last night, or actually it's just a grief recovery group, and I'm hoping it helps. Because if anybody is foolish enough to come up to me and ask me how I'm doing, I typically start bawling. I think it's a lot of things going on right now. My husband has some health challenges, and I just don't know what to do with it. Okay, so I only have so many leaves left, and more pieces. So I think again, I'm just going to do a couple of these. Can make more of these, but I think I'm just going to do the one. That works. And then I just need to add it to a card base. My scoring is not that great. It seems like I just never can get it in the right place. So I kind of have to force it. Into the correct position. Okay. So this looks pretty close to the instructions. So you can see this is the card. I have a really beautiful two-sided card. There's no reason why, it doesn't have as many leaves, but I'm okay with that. I think this still is a really great card. And then it's got a great envelope to go with it. So you can see that just fussy cutting that out makes for a great card as well, and embossing it. I just love that. Okay. Let's try this one now. So this one has a really pretty inside blue and just a little night of navy. And actually, this that was cut off, let me just see if it would actually fit over the flap of Very Vanilla. And it does. So I could actually add this to a Very Vanilla envelope and trim off the excess. There's just a little bit. Oh, cool. So I can actually just make an extra one of those. Okay, so this is one of those, again, I'm going to cut in half because I think this is a really beautiful card. Both sides have this really pretty copper foil. So it makes for a great two-sided card. Or, I mean, I can cut it so that I've got that other side. So both of these card fronts can be made into cards. And if you wanted to, you could even cut it again and have the opportunity to make another card. So in other words, I can use Night of Navy. This is the copper clay, which you can use Cajun Craze if that's what you have. Or you can use the wild wheat, which are just some of the colors. And you can see that adding even just half of that and then embossing the other side, you'd end up with 4 cards just by using these and cutting them in half. So for now, I think, yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to cut it in half. And I'll use Night of Navy, or actually I'll use what I did before, which is the inside of the envelope, and I'll emboss it. But this time I can emboss it with I think I can emboss it with this wood, with a timber grain. I think that would be really lovely. So let's see what that does. And I'm going to emboss it up and down. So just so you know, this line right here helps you to see if you've got your paper in there straight. So you can actually line it up. So typically what I'll do is I'll take my cardstock and I'll line it up with that line that they have on the outside of the embossing folder. And it helps me just keep it straight. So like the other paper, it's vanilla cardstock. And so if I come in with this rougher. Oh, this is going to be great. Almost looks like a distressed paint job. Beautiful. Look at that. That's so cool. I love that. And you can use a rougher one. This is actually a pretty mild. It's for buffing, so it doesn't have the roughness to it. All right, let's cut this in half. It's 2 1/8 is the measurement. And I can use this side or this side, either one. Let's do this one. Let's try lining up my card before I... Okay. I can't wait until Stampin' Up! Has all the colors in this two-tone cardstock, because being able to do something like this is just so cool. It just looks like a really roughened up piece of wood. I love that. This one is supposed to have Thinking of You. So I have 3 of these. So I have actually enough for if I do one of them whole. So I have enough to do all 3. I just don't have enough of these. So I'm thinking that for this one, I'm going to use this sprig because I think that it just ties in really nicely. So I think we'll do something like this. I do have an extra one of these, but I should probably save it for this one. So I think that will work. And then if I use another color for this other one. Okay, so let's get... Stamp that on here. Whoops. Oh my goodness. I didn't even realize I was looking at something else. Attention, Angela. Okay. All right, so we'll use dimensionals for this one. Let's see, I got all the ink all over the place. Good thing it doesn't bleed through. It is kind of wet though. It doesn't like to have the dimensional come through. And then this, I'm going to do a couple of glue dots to hold it in place. Great card. I love that blue. And I could have cut that in half as well, done 2 of those, but that's really beautiful. I'm really happy with that. Okay, so we've done some alternates We did one that was kind of similar to what it was originally, and we also did this one. So hopefully you've had some fun with me this morning, give you some inspiration. And if you are interested in more alternates, please subscribe to Paper Pumpkin under me or one of the other gals that you saw on that list if you have a preference. And then you will be the recipient, or if you want to be on my team, I would love to have you on my team as well. I've had the same gals. I started for like the third time in June of 2020 or the end of May. And I have three, four of my gals that have been with me, a couple of them for 4 years, a couple of them for 3 years. So they've been with me since the very beginning. It's been a fun ride. So we have our monthly little meetings. I give out goodies, or I give out little gift cards that they can use towards merchandise. And it just gives everybody a chance to have a little extra, little something, something. So be sure to take a look at my blog and you can see where to join, or my website with Stampin' Up, or you can join Paper Pumpkin and get a chance to have all kinds of alternates. So this, this one is pretty close to what it was supposed to be. This one's pretty close to what it's supposed to be. But these ones are the inside of the envelopes, and they just are so beautiful. I'm sorry about the quality of my camera. It's my phone and my local internet. Sometimes it's really poor, sometimes it's great, and it doesn't like to decide what it's going to be. So have a great day, a great weekend, and I'll talk to you on Monday.